It is Mandy with Sparkleberry, and today we are going to be designing a back-to-school file using Flexi Shapes in Silhouette Studio. Flexi Shapes are so much fun, and I think that you guys are going to be able to rock it after just this simple tutorial. There are so many options, so let's get started. We're going to be using Flexi Shapes and the regular drawing tool to create this pencil. It's not hard to do. It is a little complex and takes many steps, but it's really not hard to do once you get the hang of it. So we're going to be showing you that today. If you have Designer Plus Edition or higher, which basically is more business edition, then you have the capability of the Flexi Shapes, which are right over here on the left-hand side. So let's get started. I'm going to be using a few of the shapes. The first one I'm going to use is this one right here. Actually, we could use this. Let me show you. And I can make it an angle. Make the pencil eraser. So I'm going to start from the top and go to the bottom. I could do that. Or sometimes sometimes there is a quicker option, and so always make sure to check all of the shapes to see if there is something that you could turn into what you need. And basically there's already one right there. So I'm going to go ahead and build this also to show you guys that I can do it like this. I'm going to turn it this way. So I have two options there to make the pencil eraser, okay? But I really only need one pencil eraser right now, so I'm just going to select that and press delete. So far I have my pencil eraser. You can see I'm still able to adjust the angle, but 180 is what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and convert that to a path just so I don't have to worry about accidentally modifying it by accident later. So once I convert this to a path, it will no longer allow me to change the angle. I can still make it bigger or smaller with the corner option using my mouse by dragging it, clicking and dragging, but that's about the size I want right now. Now we have going down, we have just a simple rectangle. So I'm going to use the regular drawing tool, just use the rectangle, and I'm going to start about in the same place just so I can make it the same width, and then I'm going to space it using my arrow keys. Next, so we have our half circle, we have our rectangle. Now we're going to work on these little guys right here. Now I have a few options. I want to make sure that it's rounded at the bottom. So I could use the drawing tool and just use this regular rounded rectangle, and that's what I'm going to do for this. And mine is going to be rounded at the top and bottom, and I'm going to show you in a minute how to make that not so rounded on the top, but keep the round at the bottom. So if you notice on this far left side, I have smaller ones, and that's to give it the illusion that is rounded. So this part of the pencil is going to be smaller on each side and a bigger part in the middle, okay? Because I want them all to be the same, I'm going to use this and duplicate it. So I'm going to right click, duplicate. So that's the one for the far left, or far right, excuse me, my other left. And then now we need a bigger one. So I'm just going to do the same thing, just right click, or I can, if you're using a Mac, you can do Command C, Command V, just to duplicate it again, but we want this one to be larger. So I'm going to make it wide and a little bit wider than that. Okay, so you want all of these to be exactly the same. You want them to be aligned. So to align them, let's go ahead and select all three of them by dragging your mouse over and going up here to your Align tool. Hover over the Align tool, and you're going to go down to what you want is the Align middle. So you want them all to be exactly. This is basically putting them on a horizontally even. I don't even know if that makes sense, but you just look at the pictures to tell what you want to do. And then I'm also going to make sure that they look like they're pretty centered. Okay, I like that. Now, we want the top to be flat, like our pencil is over here. And then we're going to take our knife tool that's on the left-hand side right there. You're going to make sure up here it says solid and not outline, so that when you cut it, you're going to have still a solid completed path, okay? And then I'm just going to slice it right across the top, trying to stay as even as possible, as flat as possible. And I'm going to then select this, press delete to get rid of those, And I have, make sure it's still grouped. And I have my nice flat top. If you want it a little bit more flat, and I think I do, I'm going to take my knife tool again and just go across, and then I'm just going to elongate it. So these are the little tips. You can do it a different way. I could have cropped it with a rectangle on top of it, but this is plenty fine. Undo and select them again. And once I select all of them, if I want to make it longer because I've cut off a good deal of them, I just drag this box right here. Now that I've elongated it to about the size I want, I should be working in scale here. So let's just go ahead, make this bigger so that it's about the same size as my other pencil so that my proportions stay pretty close to it. Okay, I'm using my arrow keys to adjust it. Now, let's group these three again together. Whenever we were slicing them, it's ungrouping them is basically what's happening. Now I want to make this triangle, and I want to make it have these indentions in it, these rounded indentions, okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to use an offset of the pencil body, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, select that, and go over here to my offset panel, which is on the right-hand side. I'm going to click offset, press offset again, and I'm going to adjust my distance however I want it. And that looks plenty there. Okay, I'm going to push apply. And basically we're going to use this offset to create this right there. So let's go ahead and draw our triangle. Now you can do it with your hexagon to draw a triangle. Oh, that's not a hexagon, that's actually a pentagon. Okay, we could do it that way by taking it down to 3, like that. You just look around, find something that you want to use. So you could take a diamond and do that into half. You could slice it, so I could draw my diamond. And then I'm going to take my knife tool, again, making sure it's solid up here on the left-hand side. And I'm just going to go right in the middle and cut it. Okay. Now you have 2 triangles, I just need 1. And I'm going to flatten my triangle a bit, turn it upside down. And get it, try to make it to the proportion of the other pencil. Okay, so I'm aligning it with my offset really quick. And I just want to select my offset and the triangle because I'm going to crop it. So in order to do that, I would need to move pretty much everything else. So let's move this out of the way. Group that so it doesn't get taken away. And put this back over here. We're just going to switch the sides. Okay. So now we have our offset, and we want it to make those indentions just like this pencil. So I'm going to select them both. I'm going to come over to my modify panel on the right-hand side, open it up. Let's go ahead and color our triangle so that we can tell where everything's going to be. If you right-click and you bring your pencil to the front, that's how you're going to make it subtract the correct way, okay? Because we basically want to match that picture right there, that subtract tool. We want the top, we want this top to basically disappear. So select them all, press subtract, and there you go. You have your pencil that is now has that little, has the indentions that you want. Now using the knife tool again, the knife tool definitely comes in handy. You're going to make your pencil tip by just going across again and spacing them apart, making that tip black like that one. And now let's go ahead and color everything in using our fill panel. These are grouped. We want to ungroup them now to make sure that we have the right colors. And this is where you can tweak the sizes and to make sure that everything is the right proportion. As you can see, this pencil is different from my other pencil. So I'm just basically going to adjust it to the same size and see exactly where it is that I think it's just, it needs to be a little squattier. I'd like it to be a little fatter. So I'm just going to use this middle arrow right here to make it a little fatter. And then I'm going to use the proportional one on the side. And virtually it is pretty much the same. Now, over here you notice that they have crisscrossed them and they have created a circle in the middle. So let's do that next step, okay? I like my new one I made, but I really like this one better. So if I can sit here and try to play with it to get it to be the same proportion. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I don't need this one over here anymore. We're going to use this one because we want to use two identical pencils. And since both of my pencils are definitely a little different, we want to use this one. And I just grouped it all together. I'm going to use my rotation up at the top, and I'm going to rotate it at an angle, okay? Now I'm going to right-click and duplicate that pencil. Now I want to flip this one, so we're going to flip it. If I flip it horizontally, it will give me the same exact angle just on the opposite side. So this is where I'm just going to adjust it and see if I want them to be in a different place. And I like that. Okay, now it is time for our circle, to add the circle in. If you want to save a pencil, I highly recommend it. So that way you could use this pencil for something else or another design along the way. All right, so let's go ahead and group these together. We're going to need to do that so that we can subtract that circle from the middle. Go back over to your drawing tools and select the ellipse, okay? Actually, if we want to do a perfect circle, we have a perfect circle right there on Flexi Shapes. If you don't have Flexi Shapes, that's because you have Designer Edition or below, then you can do the ellipse tool and just hold down the shift bar to get a proportional circle. But since we love Flexi Shapes, let's use our perfect circle that is not going to make us hold down that shift key. So now I'm just using this circle, and I want it to be, I don't have to do it exactly like that design. That's cool. In fact, it's great to use a different, to do it differently, so that you're not copying exactly. And I'm just going to make a circle right here. And then now I want an offset of that circle as well. So I'm going to either duplicate it and make it bigger, or just come over here to my offset panel, click offset, and make a frame. Make it a little bigger, and I'm going to click apply. Now, those two circles, oops, these circles actually need to be, we need a compound path. So we're going to select both of those circles by trying not to select the pencils. And I think we did it. We're going to right click, we've selected both circles, and we're going to make a compound path. And we selected the wrong things here, so we're going to exit out, or undo, and then we're going to carefully select these. So I'm going to group these now. It would have been great if I just made my circle elsewhere, but I wanted to measure it there. So we're just going to right click and then make compound path, like we talked about before. Let's go ahead and make it black so we can see where it is in reference to the other one. And making our circle. Great. Now, if we look at this picture a little bit bigger, let's just really try to figure out what's happening here. We basically want to subtract the inside, but we still want a circle frame. So let's duplicate this. Sometimes this is just trial and error. We're duplicating this, and I'm going to grab both of these, okay, and come back over to my modify panel. Let me subtract. And that's one way to do it. So basically I can take this middle and I can highlight it and delete it, okay? So now we have our pencils with the big circle in the middle. We're going to get our extra frame over here, and we're going to place them all together by welding them together, okay? Just please press weld. And I'm not entirely happy with this, and let me show you why. If I zoom in, See these cut lines? That's not good. So let's figure out what we need to do. So let's undo. And what has happened basically is there are must be spaces in there. So let's just make our circle frame just a tad bit bigger to overlap perfectly. And let's see if this works this time. And right click, weld. Okay, let's get a little closer. See if we like how it looks. Good. I don't see any random cut lines anywhere, so it appears that we've done what we needed to do. Now you can go ahead and add in your monogram if you're going to use that. If you're going to do a solid color like this person did, it is super cute, but if you wanted to make it all different colors again, all you do is just go in and because I like to see it on the mat before I actually create it. So I want to change all of the colors so that I don't get confused whenever it's time to cut. So I'm just changing them all back using my color picker to make it exactly these same colors that I've already picked. And make this outside, we want it to be yellow. And voila, there you go. And then you can add in your monogram right in the middle, and it makes a super, super cute design. And I'd especially love to see this in glitter, so we will be creating this, and I will post the video of that when we do it in the description, okay? So there you go. I think that's super cute. I hope that helped. You can see it's a lot of trial and error, but it's really not hard to build something from scratch. Just start playing around with it and tweak it how you like it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial in Flexi Shapes with me. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel at Sparkleberry Inc. and follow us on Facebook because we do tons of craft projects live. We love crafting live with you. So let us know in the comments what you think below, and we'll see you soon. Happy crafting!